Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Hearthcenter, your Tuesday night show, bringing you the highlights of the latest week in THL. I'm one of your hosts, Lotus Knight, and I am joined by such a great crew tonight. First of all, we have on my left side, Super Chicken. Chicken, how are you?
Um, you know, doing great considering 3 paladin nerfs were announced today, but yeah, still happy to be on the show.
Awesome. Always great having you, regardless of Paladin nerfs, although the Paladin nerfs are welcome as well. Below Chicken, we have Dankistad. Dankistad, welcome to our show tonight. How are you doing?
Mute.
Oh no, it's just like my meetings at work. Happy to be here. Hope we don't have to talk about paladin nerfs too much and can get to the good stuff. So yeah, gonna be fun.
Of course. And to my right side, we have Geranium Battle here with us as always. How are you, Geranium?
I'm doing very well. Yeah, it's not just paladin cards that are being nerfed. I know that a lot of players thought of this card a lot like Edwin, how it was dodging a lot of the time. Finally, we see Setheno with a little red border around it. So we'll see what that entails.
We will see. And last but a very special guest for us tonight, we have Saku in the house. Saku, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty fantastic for a Tuesday night. So happy about the. I never see any paladins because I always ban them. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
There's a reasonable argument. We have quite a packed show tonight. We're going to do our classics, starting with Player of the Week. Then we're going to hop into Hero Legacy. We have two mini games tonight. We have a brand new one that I'm trying out, and we'll see whether it's good or not. Then, well, with our commercial, of course, because you're all here for the commercial. We all know that. But after the commercial, we're going to talk trios and Pro Series. So, everyone ready to begin with Player of the Week?
Roll the tape.
All right, so Geranium Battle, who is our player of the week for Hero?
Our hero player of the week is none other than KSW. When I saw the matchups from last week and who APM captain KSW was facing, I considered telling him to be always packing it up. Facing two-time incumbent hero MVP 2-star Mako, it didn't look like great odds. But in a stunning reversal of fortune, this astute player manager took Game 5 of the series after winning with Mako's usual favorite, Big Beast Hunter. Mako might not lose another match this season, so snatching the tie versus the team at the top of purple has to be worth some accolades.
For sure, for sure. And who brought us that write-up?
Me.
Nice. Thank you for the write-up, Geranium. Saku, do you want to tell us our legacy player of the week?
Legacy player of the week. Oh my goodness, I just found the notes, so I'm kind of new here, so bear with me. All right, so legacy player of the week is Ring 13. So in a close battle in the closely contested Silver Conference, it almost threw me for a loop as it was. Ring got a big dub for the Big W Esports against Jolt C of Symphony of Clowns, 3-1, securing a great placement in the conference heading towards the playoffs. Congrats on the win and player of the week from Azalea Akari.
Nice. Congratulations on the win, and thank you so much, Azalea, for that nom. And Chicken, can we get our pro player of the week?
Do
Chicken?
we have a frozen chicken? I think we have a frozen chicken. Nope, they're moving. Okay.
Okay, so Chicken didn't respond right now, so I'll go to Dankistad. Can you tell us our pro player of the week?
Sure, I'll step
Oh,
in.
sorry. Can you not hear me?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry, our
Damn
pro
Zoom
player
calls.
of the week is Rymiat. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But Cheesemongers United brought on a brand new sub to pro for a battle at the top of pink conference table. Rymiat was the right call, taking a sweet 3-2 against Base Dink in the 1 seed and helping boost the Mongers to a 16-14 victory on the week. So congrats to Rymiat and thanks to Base for the submission.
Thank you so much, Base, for the submission, and congratulations to KSW, Ring 13, and Ryman for your great placements in BPW. Or sorry, in Player of the Week. Maybe you're in BPW. Who knows? I don't actually know the answer. Before we
Spoilers.
go, I want to give a very special thank you for Saku for that 56-month sub and for the $25 donated to support the Trevor Project, our Pride Month special, where we have a lot of things incoming for Pride Month. So I hope you're all as excited and happy about it as we are. I don't know if Saku has any special words, anything he wants to say.
Watch. Just watch. That's all. Help support all our friends out there. So, and if you can donate, give her.
We are having a special stream. We haven't said yet, I think. But Mako is building a special stream, as he has announced in the channel. So there should be a 24-hour charity stream. We'll let you all know when we know more details. I'm excited
That's right.
for it.
We've sent some invites out, so we'll let everybody know when things are finalized, closer to probably the end of this week, or if not the beginning of next. So
Yeah. What I can spoil already, and this is big spoiler, Mako's going to get mad at me for saying this, but it's going to be a very hot lineup. Don't you agree, Saku?
100%. Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at Hero Series. So we're going to start by looking at a tie, and I actually want Saku to tell us about this one. The Department of League Administration facing Always Backing Mana.
Look at all the Paladin bands. My goodness. Holy. That's a clean sweep if I ever seen one. So, all right. So we got the teams tying this week at 13-13. I'm not sure who the last match was, whether it was Hat or Mako. Can't remember. But we'll start off with Ron getting his win there at 3-1 over Chewy. Ridiculous Hat coming up big with it was Ridiculous Hat had the last match. That's what it was. So our Hat coming out with a huge 3-0 win over Genji. Mako got beat by KSW 2-3. Dragon Rider with a 2-3 loss and a close one with Darkhawk, aka Osmet. Osmonaut. Jeez, I can't even speak tonight, but that's fine. And then some guy named Saku just got a point for his team against Wayfair. So
Yeah, that does not bode well for the commercial later. If
no, I know.
Well, you could say it was a pretty colossal win for him, right? If you're going to call him Azamat.
Yeah, Osmet. That's right. 8 cards. Death Rattle. Yeah, we're good to go.
So, Chicken, anything you want to say about this match?
Yeah, there were 10 Paladin bans. Yeah, this is something like, I mean, this is definitely to be expected with Paladin having pretty much the best deck in the game. Hard to say like how the meta would have developed around it further had it been given more time to do so, but yeah, I mean, even at high ranks, Paladin had a pretty high win rate. It was like slowly going down a little bit. People were just starting to run Vipers in their decks and stuff, but yeah, if people are starting to run Vipers a lot of the time, yeah, it's probably a bit of an issue. So yeah, I don't think we'll see this next week, but it was pretty funny to see Paladin rise straight to the top of the meta and get curb stomped all the way back down.
And it was a
Does
very
anybody ever
quick
s-
brain.
Yeah. It's just unusual for me to see like two complete teams just going all full paladin ban. That's
Yeah, usually you see a bit of deviation, but I think the reason for that is because Paladin is generally like a class that does really well at lower ranks. So like you sometimes in the meta you have decks that perform better like uh in the 1 seed than in the 5 seed, but I think pure Paladin is just one of those decks that has been performing well at like literally every rank. And
Mhm.
so you just have a deck that is easy to play and is really strong, so it just makes so much sense to ban it.
Yeah. Any final thoughts anyone wants to share about this match before we move on to our second match of the night?
not here, mister.
All right. So, Dankestad, why don't you tell us about Ballers and Slatters Enjoy Dabbing facing the Golden Wisps?
Well, looks like the Ballers and Slatters pulled out a close 14-12 over the Wisps, and Lemur got the win over Base Stink in the one, and Jespin got it over G Kick in the three. But that's all the good news for the Golden Wisps. Always just in time. Decided to win a match in Hero. Maybe he'll do it in Pro someday. We'll see. But for Hero, we've got the 3-0 over CMAC. Gert Reynolds taking the 3-2 over MPV, and You Kit Me staying undefeated, taking the 3-2 over Anfall. And well, notably, this match had a little bit more diversity in decks and bans than the last one out. Huh. Looks pretty neat. We see some shaman, a smattering of shaman involved, some Death Knight bands, Demon Hunter. Yeah, pretty cool. And well done by the Ballers and Slatters. Enjoy dabbing, staying in first, and picking up the W.
Got a question though. What's that R stand for on the ballers and slatters? What's that stand for?
Uh, I believe that stands for Rogue. And
Rogue. Okay.
notably, that's on the player who went 3-0. So, did CMAX see the Rogue? We'll never know.
No.
But yeah, good class still. Very good class.
Was it Weapon Rogue?
I don't know. Could
Only
be
only
anything.
Justin knows,
In his
because
heart of
Justin
hearts.
swept with the priest.
So yeah, it's between Justin and God. We'll never know.
There you go.
Fair. Fair. I want to ask for a second thought here from Geranium Battle. Geranium, anything we didn't notice or we should know about this one?
Yeah. I was I knew I was gonna get called on, so I was just waiting my turn here. Always just in time faced off against CMAC a long time ago. This is of course felt like a long week. Because they actually played before the mini set even released. You can see there's no Paladin, no Warrior in their lineups. They played on I think on like day one of the double week. And yeah, Justin brought a funky concoction that I think he was working around with on like the first day of the entire expansion releasing. So to see that it's powerful enough to sweep over CMAC is a little disconcerting. Um, and yeah, I think other than that, I think Kitten on Fall played I think very shortly after the mini set, so they have maybe they even played before the mini set. But yeah, you see no Paladin among them either. That's why we don't see the Paladin bans. Meanwhile, the other players, if you didn't ban Paladin, you won your match 3-1. So maybe that's a lesson to people who are thinking Paladin is too strong. Just beat it.
That's right. Just beat it. That's what Blizzard's doing. Um, anything anyone else wants to talk about this match before we move on to our standings?
get some standings.
All right. So, Geranium, what are our standings looking like?
Okay, in the Hero series, the standings are looking pretty similar to last week. At the very top of Teal, we still have the Ballers and Slatters that enjoy dabbing. They have a monstrous 98 points to start off the week. Then, right below them, was Arcanist Perform Miracles at 86 points. Golden Wisps a little bit behind at 80 points. Dad Legend, skip and a jump behind that at 64 points. And then somewhat hastily improvised team starting the week off at 52 points. So right now 86 is sort of the score to beat. So being 34 behind that means that somewhat hastily improvised team has to put in a lot of legwork in the final 3 weeks here, because only the top 2 will qualify. In Purple Conference, on the other hand, Department of League Administration, which we saw get a tie, stayed at the top of the conference at 82 points. Let Them Cook, right behind them, was at 72 points to start off the week. F2L Black is only 1 point out of that playoff spot at 71 points. Always Pack and Mana also not far behind, 63 points, so 9 points away. And Any Primers, unfortunately, at 42 points, was in a similar boat to the somewhat hastily improvised team. They have a lot of legwork to make up. They did start off with a week already so far this week, so they might be starting to make that groundwork up. But only 3 weeks left means it's starting to be much harder for teams to make it.
For sure. So, we have a lot of variance still to happen because there's still 2 more weeks to go in Hero. And speaking of variance, let's move on to our player power rankings where you can see how everyone is doing. Saku, can you tell us our Hero PPR?
Can I? Yes, I can. All right. So let's rock and roll with the honorable mentions. So not in any particular order, but I guess it is on this chart. So we're going to start off with Anfall at 3-2 with a 12-10 record. Always just in time with a 2-1 record, and then 8-5 for games. Based Inc. She came in with 3-2 with a 12-9 record. Games record. Seth for Christ 3-2. Chewy at 3-1. And then we're jumping into the top 10. So Neji filling in that rank at 4-1. 2-star Mako 4-1. Skirt Reynolds at 4-1. Lemur at 4-1. Seems to be a common theme. So Jespin at 4-1. Dr. Bomb MD at 4-1. Ron Mexico at 4-1. And Azalea Akari having a wonderful season so far at 5-0. Some guy named GB Geranium Battle at 4-0. And topping the list at number 1, numero uno. Can't even say it, amigo, but because it's a kitten, so you kitten me. With a 5-0 record.
What a cast. Any thoughts you want to share about this whole crew, Saku?
Wish I could play just as well as the top 10.
Except
That's
for
my
Neji.
thought.
Except for Neji.
Oh, excluding Neji. Yes.
Well, I want to congratulate each and every one of these players. If you're in PPR, congratulations, you did a great job. If you're not in PPR, you can get there. Just win more, I guess.
Yeah.
But it is possible, and I want to wish you all luck in trying it.
Pro tip, just win more.
Exactly. So moving on to Gold Conference, we're going to start Legacy now. Unless anyone has anything else they want to talk about in Hero.
I will just say, looking at this chart, pointing it out, the 2 players from Always Pack and Mana have a 27-8 game record in the Hero series. That just doesn't sit right. That's rigged. Someone should look into that team. I don't know
Agreed.
about this.
Rigged.
So let's take a look at our first Legacy match, where Dankizad is going to tell us about Oops All Justin facing the Rockstars of average size.
Oh, looks like Always just in time is back again, and Oops All Justin picks up a win. So 16-10 over the Rockstars with always just in time sweeping Chewy in the 1, Infinite taking the 3-1 win over Yoxter in the 2, and Disagreement taking the 3-1 win over Corridon in the 4. But Rockstars strike back with Superhero going 3-2 over Hudak in the 3, and Judo Top taking the 4-1 over Skirt Reynolds in the 5, which is a pretty big upset and helps the Rockstars stay in it. And these are the teams at the top of the conference, so pretty huge week for Oops All Justin to take the decisive lead.
Yeah, this was quite an important win. It was the top two teams, and it does open quite the lead. Although Gold Conference, everyone is still clumped together, but still looking at this match, I'm going to call chicken here. Anything you want to say about this one?
Yeah, I'm seeing some people did not bring Paladin. I'm assuming the first two matches were also played pre-patch. I think I remember seeing in the Justin server that Infinite played early, and I assume Justin did as well because he loves playing pre-patch. But yeah, the people who played after the patch all banned Paladin. There's also a bit of a dichotomy between the Hunter believers post miniset and the non-Hunter believers. I I was actually surprised to see Hunter get listed as one of the classes getting nerfed. I feel like Hunter's like decent right now, but didn't feel like a problem in the meta. I felt like in Rage Warrior was just like a better version of the deck, uh, in a lot of ways. So I was pretty surprised to see Hunter get hit in Warrior, but a lot of people did really enjoy playing Hunter in the week after the mini set. So we'll see how it shapes up afterwards. I mean, it is just the Hope of Kael'Thalas getting nerfed, which was like definitely one of the strongest cards in the deck, but maybe it'll be fine anyways. We'll see.
I will note that the THL board did send a bit of chocolate to Ron Mexico's home with the hope that he recovers happily from, or he recovers quickly from the nerf to Hope of Quel'Thalar, or whatever the name of the weapon is, because yeah, we know his heart was broken there.
Or Ron.
There's a couple keys missing off his keyboard. So
I think Ron was probably more upset about Pozic, but I haven't checked in with him. So
Any further thoughts anyone wants to share about this match before we look at the standings?
let's stand it up.
Okay, so thank is that. What is Gold Conference looking like?
So, as we've seen from this match, we've seen the cream of the crop in gold with Oops All Justin in the lead at 72 and the Rockstars of average size in second at 65. Next up, there's the Cooler at 60 points, the Standard THL Degenerates at 60, and the Canceled Hearthstone Season at 52. Worth noting, though, that those two teams in last place have both already had their buys, as have Oops All Justin. So that team at the top has a much more sizable lead than it appears, averaging a massive 18 points per week. And those two teams in last, realistically speaking, are probably just a bit ahead of the Rockstars of average size and the Cooler, but there's a reason we play the games. We'll just have to see what happens. So, yeah, can anyone catch the Justins? We'll have to find out over these next couple weeks.
There's rumor in Discord that there's only one Justin this week. So
I think those rumors are true. So maybe this is the opening.
that's right.
Very. So, with that out of the way, should we move on to Red Conference? Or actually, I don't have the graphic ready yet. I thought I had it, but I don't. So let me ask
Don't
you one more
move.
quick question. Um, Given Gold Conference is still kind of up in the air, I want to ask you all which two teams make it? For a quick question here, and I'll start with Geranium.
Well, I think that the two teams with the highest points per week here, Oops, All Justin and Standard THL Degenerates, have the best shot. I think it's also a point in their camps that Standard THL Degenerates has been to playoffs quite a few times. They went to playoffs, I think, in like season 19. They actually won playoffs a couple seasons ago. And Oops All Justin has been to the core players in that have been to finals, have been to playoffs many times. So I think that those are my two.
Yeah, I'm with Geranium. I think those two look pretty strong and have a great shot, but yeah, we'll just have to see though. I feel like the cooler right now though is the team that's on the outside looking in, and they're the ones that are going to have to step it up the most if they want one of those playoff bids.
Yeah. Saku, who do you think makes it?
Heck yeah, STDs, get in there. But if Justin keeps rolling along, that maybe not this week because we got to play them. So this is where I think, what's it called? The rubber meets the road. So if we don't beat Justin, there's a high chance we might get jumped over by possibly Rockstars or Cooler. So
Well, we'll have to see what happens. Everyone ready to move on to Red Conference?
Let's do it.
Okay, and I didn't actually ask the question to Chicken, but Chicken, do you want to give a thought on what teams make it
In Gold Conference?
in gold before we hop? Because I forgot to give you a chance before.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm gonna have to say the Justins will make playoffs, believe it or not. And then I think the Rockstars will also make playoffs. Yeah, SCD will not make playoffs this year or season.
We'll have to see, but taking a look at Legacy Red, where Geranium is going to tell us about our next match.
Wouldn't you guess it? I'm going to be talking about my team in red again, Albatross's play mistakes. This time facing against E.T. Cthulhu. Now, it was actually important because this is the top team facing the previous second place team. E.T. Cthulhu had, I think, just barely snuck ahead of season 24 Legacy Clown Contestar. So Albatross is winning 18-9 with wins down the docket from Lotus Knight 3-1 over Nice Jewish Owl, Based Inc. 3-1 over Jespin, me taking game 5 over Lowbrow Know-How, Gimme Lamp winning 3-1 over Dragon Rider, and in the 5 seed, new player Epic Cat took game 5 over Chirip.
Nice. Yeah, this was a fun match. I mean, playing Owl is always interesting. I kind of regret bringing Mage, but I like playing Mage, so just want to note that. Mage is fun. But I'm going to ask here if Dankestad has anything to add about this match.
Looks like the team that brought Paladin did pretty well. Eating that one ban seemed like it was pretty good and gave a lot of flexibility into those other decks, and looked like it really paid off. And yeah, just like Super Chicken was saying a few of these ago, Paladin really is the menace it's cracked up to be, even at the top ranks. So yeah, it looks like Albatross's play mistakes had some really good brings and had a bit of a better grasp on what was going to succeed in the new patch than ET Cthulhu, and that made all the difference.
I will I will note, at least for my match versus Lobra Know-How, that every single loss was with Priest. So that one was very different with the new meta.
Mm.
That is surprising. Anything else anyone wants to say? Okay.
Ikuchi.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say you can move along.
Okay, so moving on to the standings. Geranium, what are the standings for Red looking like?
Of course. The standings for Red Conference have, just as it was last week, Albatross's Play Mistakes up at the top, 91 points. Finally, though, that team has their bye week, so we might see that the gap here shorten quite a bit. Behind them is Season 24 5v5 Legacy Clown Contestar with 74 points. They're going to have their bye week the week after the final week. E.T. Cthulhu, which we just featured, is at 55 points. So that is, it's 19 points in gap. That could be 1 week's worth. And they do have an entire week they have to make up. Hanoyo Political Manifesto is unfortunately even a bit further behind that at 46 points. And Dad Legend at the bottom is at 38 points. So since the only the top two teams make it through, there's a lot of catching up to do in the final 2 weeks, but those top two teams do have their buys, so we might see a lot of ground get covered.
For sure. There's still a lot to go. Any further thoughts anyone has about Red Conference before we go to Silver? Okay, so let's hop on to Silver, where Saku's going to take us through the big W Esports facing the Symphony of the Clowns.
All right. So, Symphony of the Clowns got defeated, unfortunately, by 15-12 by Big W Esports. So we got Wild Rose kicking off with a loss at the 1 seed to Jammies, a seasoned veteran. Well, both of them are in THL. We got Nice King coming in 3-2 over Rice Cryption. L-Bomb 25 defeating Copa 3-1. And we got Ring 13, our play of the week, defeating Jolt C 3-1. And then we got I'm not even going to know how to pronounce it. Ziegert defeating or getting the 1-3 loss to Azalea Akari. So, a couple of things to note is Paladin got banned in certain instances. That's my theme for tonight's show is happy Paladin bans. But Warrior got a little bit of flavor in there too. So
Yeah, interesting that Warrior got banned more than Paladin. Yeah, 6 times versus 4. And yeah, both classes. Well, Warrior was brought 9 times. Paladin brought all 10. But yeah, Warrior is another deck that I've been enjoying quite a bit from the mini set. Definitely the addition of Jam Session has made the deck feel much, much stronger. Yeah, it feels like you just get online way faster. Having another fire spell for Sun Fury Champion and Thori Bolar has been really, really impactful as well. Yeah, deck's just really good and doesn't have all too many counters that are real decks. Like, yeah, it's like pretty bad into Priest, and like slightly unfavored into Paladin, I find, but it's still a pretty strong bring, I think.
Isn't it bad into Chad Warlock?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I think you must have missed the part where I said real decks.
Yeah. There's also this Miracle Rogue deck too that also does pretty well into the Warrior.
If you want a real deck matchup, go back and look at the trios match between the L Gang and AFG, in which Enraged Warrior had 30 attack Remornia and a 30 attack Grom, and it did not win versus Chadlock.
yeah. That was on THL stream there last Friday, so there were witnesses.
Wow, what a match. So, anything else anyone wants to share about this one?
No, I think good battle between the two teams. So we get Big W Esports just piling on the points there with a 4-1 season. I know they had I think it was a rough season last season. I can't remember what their record was offhand, but good to see that they're kicking in full gear. So
For sure. Now, Saku, does that leave us in terms of the standings for silver?
well, the standings in Silver Conference, we get Defias at 90 points, 4-0-1. So you got a tie in there, which is just slightly, besides point wise, it slightly edges Big W Esports at 81 points. The Stubbs coming in with 60, Symphony of Clowns at 58, and then F2L White at 49.
So, is there still a
If-
chance for F2L White? What is this looking over the next few weeks?
At getting 12 points a week, little rough. So they have to have a big team meeting, I think, to kind of, who are they going up against next week here? Sorry, just waiting for the page to load. But all right, so Defias versus the Stubbs, and Big W Esports has got the bye, and then we got Symphony of Clowns versus F2L White. Yeah, so it's the battle of the bottom teams there, so that could edge them up a little bit, depending on how the Stubbs do against the Esports, or Defias, sorry. So
For sure. Now, let's take this opportunity to move on to Legacy PPR, shall we?
for sure.
Okay, so Geranium, tell us who made it to Legacy PPR.
Of course, our first honorable mention is none other than the 1 seed Jammies, not Righteous Jammies, but Jammies, with a 3-1 record, 10-8 game score. Probiwan also made it an honorable mention, 3-1, 11-6 game score. Lemur is next up, 3-1, 10-7 game score. Bay Stink, not to be outdone, 3-2 with 12-7 game score. Just outside top 10, Azalea Akari is 3-1 with an 11-6 game score. And then we get to our top 10. L-Bomb 25 is 4-1 with a 13-7 game score. Hudak, who is this? Well, it's a Justin at 3-1 with 11-6 game score. Canoe makes it in at number 8, 3-0, undefeated, but fewer weeks played than other people, so 9-5 game score. Super Chicken, our co-host, is also here, 4-1 with a 13-7 game score. Infinite is also undefeated with a 12-3 game score, very dominant looking. Judo Chop is 4-1 with a 14-10 game score. Another co-host, Lotus Knight, is also 4-0 with a worse looking 12-6 game score. Nice King, also known as I think Holy Light, is 4-1 with a 14-9 game score. We've got Molestar in the second place with 4-0 as well, 12-5 game score, and then the top spot goes to returning player from long ago, Truth AM. Instead of 0-5, he is 4-0 with a 12-4 game record. Congratulations.
Congratulations to all our Legacy Player of the Weeks. And that's quite the crew. So, congratulations to all of you who are there except for myself. And I hope you all make it there. If you want, just play it. There's still weeks. You can still get in. And we'll see. So everyone ready to hop to our small games and commercial?
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Let's get it.
all right. So we'll start with a fun game first to be played during the commercial by everyone but the reader, which is Unscramble Me THL. You're going to get a word, and it's a word related to THL. And the question is, which word is it? So just unscramble the letters. Quite a simple game. So word of the night is bone joints. And while you unscramble this, Saku is going to tell us about Twitch Prime. Saku, take it away.
Twitch Prime or is this our commercial break? Question mark?
It is a commercial break.
Okay. Commercial break it is. So yo. Hey there, Twitch viewers. Have who subscribed to the Team Hearth League yet? Then rake today the day to be a league yourself and subscribe to our channel. So this is still messing me up. Thanks. So this subscription enables our team to help cover the costs of operating our website, as well as shrimp-proving the quality of our streams and content to our viewers. If you crave Amazon Prime True Crime /True Crime, you can subscribe to the channel for free. Subscribe burgers will get a THL emotive bone joints as well as the lovely THL chat badge. So multiverses that thumbs up button and keep the lights bone to make sure you catch our train broadcast live. We appreciate each and some of you. So if you're Donde, then that's where that falls in. So special note to our viewer, Super Chicken, out of THL's other social media points of interest. That makes sense. And a website, obviously, you go there with teamhearthleague.com and catch us on our Twitters at THL_HS. You can also join our Discord at Team Hearth League. Then you have face us on Hearthstone at Bone Joints # or $ Saku. The Truth Hearth Common Rotten Apple Bomb continues to heal all of our daddies on our YouTube channel. That would be me. Just be smirched for the Team Hearth League to see everything previously recorded. You are, of course, watching us on our Twitch channel. So that's twitch.tv /turtle. You guys keep messing around with it. So where'd I stop at? All right. So I guess this is where I'm going to stop at is basically THL shows are every week, obviously, for every Tuesday. You won't go wrong tuning in for some Hearthstone related content. So that's me, Saku, the bone part, Kachauchi. That's how it's pronounced?
Yep, that's perfect.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, I fumbled my way through it. So
It's gotten very unwieldy. It used to be easier. So my question back to you all is, who was able to unscramble the hidden THL or Hearthstone related word?
I would like to solve the
got
puzzle.
it.
Okay, go for it, Dankus.
I believe that it unscrambles to Neji Boston.
It is Neji Boston. That's right. Did everyone
What?
get it?
I would like to
No.
submit a different answer.
Okay.
Job in stone. Thank you.
It's fair. That was not the one I was thinking.
Dang.
I vote bone joints myself. That's where I'm going.
Is joint bones? Would that work?
There you go. It makes
That's
me
what I
start
found.
singing that song. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am very bad at word scrambles. If anyone
This
is-
was Lotus's not very well veiled attempt to not get us to mess with the commercial as much. Instead, I just focused on messing with the commercial.
It's
So if
true.
you read it real close, Super Chicken, it says Paladin. That's what it says.
Oh, poggers.
So let's go to our second game of the night, where we have a Geranium Special here. Our deck. What the deck?
Okay. And once you get that queued up, then just click on and we'll get on to the very first card. And the very first card is one that you may recognize from a certain era in Hearthstone. It is Moarg Artificer. Moarg Artificer, the 2-mana 2/4 demon that doubles the damage from spells. Of course, anyone can DM me to hazard a guess. And with no guesses coming in, that sounds like we're going to move on to card number 2. Strange that you wouldn't lock in your one guess on Moarg Artificer, because card 2 is the very popular Bad Luck Albatross. Bad Luck Albatross and Moarg Artificer in the same deck somehow. But what deck is that? And man, the guesses are just rolling in.
I feel like I have an idea of what it is, to be honest, but I don't really want to risk a guess just yet.
Yeah, not yet.
There we go.
I've never seen this What the Deck before. This is
Yeah,
so
I mean, I certainly expected Dankestad to come on Hearthcenter, and so I didn't ever send him any of these before. Now, Saku, I will say you have to be more specific than that. I'm not going to count that as your guess.
Okay.
If you're right, that would be a very hype class to get, but you'd have to like specifically
Cheat.
say like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a this version of it.
Gotcha.
And maybe you'll be proven right with this third card, because the third card is none other than Sacrificial Pact. The Warlock card. 0 mana, destroy a demon. This is back when it healed. You could destroy a demon on either side of the field. Heal 5.
Even if you face Jiraxis?
Oh, you could destroy Jiraxis. Now, with that being in, I am. Oh,
I think I know it.
Lotus.
This is Galakron Warlock.
It is Galakron Warlock. Galakron Control Warlock. If you want to reveal the next card, that is going to be Veiled Worshipper, which allows you to draw 3 cards when you've invoked a couple times. And then if you click on to the final slide, it is Galakron Warlock. I think it was only on one Vicious Syndicate patch notes at tier 1, but there it was.
I loved
there's
this
the
deck
list.
at the time. It was so much fun.
This was so cool. I missed the Mali version. That was my favorite.
That was also
I-
fun.
My choice was Paladin, but I didn't specify what archetype it was, so I lost.
We'll say we tried to make it as hard as possible with 2 neutrals, so I do not blame you for hazarding the Paladin.
This deck, this was a fun one to play because you could do so much stuff. Some games you would play full aggro in a control deck. Some games you would just be playing control, and just felt like a deck that could do everything really.
Yeah, really, really flexible. Cool. Dark Skies was a cool removal spell.
Yep.
And while I think our power level has gone far past that in recent years, I still really like that design, and I wish we saw more cards like it.
For sure.
Plague of Flames was also certainly a card that existed.
Yeah, that one was pretty good.
It was fine.
Yeah.
Not broken at all.
It was fine.
You should have seen it in my Darkest Hour Warlock of this era.
Perhaps Hearthstone's darkest hour.
Maybe.
Oh, I'll say it was quite a tricky one. Bad Luck Albatross was also very specific because it was against Resurrect Control Priest. Was like the one patch that people ran it. So good job
We
getting
also
it.
ran
Chicken
it for
also-
the Highlander decks that were around, like Highlander Mage at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, Chicken also would have gotten it had he gotten the chance. It's a little bit too slow. And now back to the show.
All right, let's go back to the show where we're going to start looking at our next series, which is Trios. So, everyone ready to talk about Trios? As Trios is getting so close to its conclusion, we're in its really final moments. There's, I think, only one more week of regular Trios, right?
Yep.
Yeah, is it one? Okay. I thought it was
Only
might have been
one,
two,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Next week is playoffs.
Playoffs.
So let's get ready for it as we look into our first Trios match, the Ape Man facing the Big Three. Chicken, why don't you tell us about this one?
Yeah, this was a pretty interesting match because the Ape Men brought some very, I guess, very Ape Men type decks, or at least some very interesting decks. They had the Menagerie Warrior, they had the Chadlock, the Beast Hunter, and of course everyone's favorite, the Pure Paladin. Yeah, I don't really know what the idea was. Maybe they were trying to. Maybe these are just probably 4 decks they enjoyed. But yeah, it was kind of a weird spot for us because our Demon Hunter was kind of like not super great into the other 3 decks, so we decided to leave the Paladin up. And then we didn't play Demon Hunter game 1, and they played Paladin and won with it. So then our Demon Hunter was in a bit of a tough spot, and then I think it lost the last 2 games of the series. I can't remember, but yeah, Demon Hunter got a little bit stuck there, unfortunately.
Anyone wants to add anything else about this match?
Just wondering, I didn't look at the deck list, but I'm just wondering if it had a little bit of heat shock touches in there with Menagerie, Warrior, and the Warlock.
No, the lists were pretty standard. Nothing really crazy that jumped out. Yeah, Menagerie, just playing like some of the new cards. Menagerie Warrior playing the new the Demon Taunt Lifesteal guy, and then Undead
base.
Warlock playing like the Summon a Copy thing. But yeah, it was pretty normal stuff from them.
Nice. So let's move to talk about our second Trios match of the night, where Danky's dad is telling us about the Raiders of our Lost Spark facing the Warrior Believers.
Oh, well, this one was a doozy. So, the Raiders of the Lost Spark, Geranium Battle, Wild 9 and myself took on Stinty, I Am Moon, and Panacea, and we picked up the 3-1 win. Big Druid, Pure Paladin, Control Priest, and Miracle Rogue going against the Spell DH, Pure Paladin, Miracle Rogue, and Range Warrior, and yeah, I mean, the stuff happened. Our rogue miracled. Our paladin. We killed the demon hunter on turn 7, and the control priest. Yeah, gave them a really miserable time. All in all, like I can say this one really came down to one team drawing the good cards, one team not drawing the good cards. But hey, Big Druid ate a ban, so that's pretty sweet, right? It was a good
That is
time. But yeah, any thoughts on the lineups from anybody else? I know Geranium and I are a little bit biased, but the rest of you might have some other insight from that third person perspective.
Big Drew's just so good, you have to ban it.
I will note that from the Raiders, the lists were pretty standard looking. from Warrior Believers, though, despite the fact that they brought maybe a more normal looking lineup, they actually brought more interesting cards. So their spell DH had Zillag, I believe, is one of the Bound Souls. Their Enrage Warrior dropped the 1/5 taunts and something else. I think their Pure Paladin was a bit more of a Funk Finny list than normal, but still banned.
Yeah. Dinzy was doing the thing. A little bit of flexing, but alas, didn't get it done.
Yeah. Anyone has anything else they want to say about this match? Or about trios? We are in the last week of trios, so anything you want to say about teams you think will make it? I'll start by asking Saku.
I was just kind of looking at week 6 that's hit us right now, and I'm pleasantly surprised to see a Sussy Union still undefeated at this time. So, and they're going up against the 8-men this week. So, yeah, I know Heatchuck and those guys are always hard to battle against. So it's this one, if I can try and get this one on stream. So, yeah, and then the L Gang is surprisingly climbing up the ladder. So Gimme Lamp is with the last stream said that all they got to do is go 2 games down right off the bat, and then they win. So that's their formula. They're up against Swagoy this week. So
We'll see what happens there.
yeah.
I'll ask the. Well, everyone else here is pretty biased, but I'll ask Chicken. Any teams you think make it?
My team's lost the last 2 weeks, but maybe we stop trolling and start winning. That would be cool. What other teams have seemed pretty good?
You just got to drop the dead weight there in Edgy Boston. That's all.
He is heavy.
The bone
Let
joints.
me tell you. Yeah, carrying Neji, he's like, dude, he's been like joining call from Europe on like his Gen 1 AirPods. It sounds like he's talking from another room. He's
On an
like on his
airplane.
phone. It's dude, if I had known he was gonna do this, I would not have teamed with him, let me tell you.
Imagine going to Ireland, leaving your team in the hole.
Who would do that?
Who would?
What's
Shame
there
on
to
you,
do in
Neji.
Ireland? Leave?
Eat potatoes.
Drink. Copious amounts of draft. There you go.
But yeah, I think we'll make playoffs. We're definitely expecting to win this week. But even if we don't, our tiebreakers are still decent, unless all of our past opponents like miraculously lose this week. Although that's impossible. We'll get at least one win because 2 of our previous opponents are playing each other this week.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think we'll make it. Surely.
Yeah. I will note that mathematically, it's quite tough to get in if you're not already in the top 8. And even then, in the top 8, a bunch of those teams are going to go 3-3 and then drop out because only 1 or maybe 2 of the 3-3 teams will make it, while every 4-2 team does. So I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of strong teams in that mix.
Well, the Raiders of the Lost Spark will not be one of those 3-3 teams that make it. So I really hope we win this time.
I actually don't know if that's true. If tiebreakers break like exactly how we want, then we could make it in over another team. But yeah, it definitely is not likely.
You know what? Gimme Lamp. I'll imagine it once we're in the playoffs. Okay. Okay. Whoa. Twitch chat getting aggressive here.
I know.
Well, who knows? Might have to pull them on the air, have a little show match. We'll see. One of these days.
So, anything else anyone wants to say about trios before we move to Black Conference?
Old Pro Series. Let's go.
Alrighty then, let's hop on to our first match that we're going to look in Pro, where we're going to see F2L facing CMU. And we're going to ask our special correspondent here, Geranium Battle, what is going on there?
Um, of course. No correspondent for Black Conference. We've got Cheesemongers United, the top team in the Pink Conference, taking the win over F2L, which I think actually started the week as the top team in the Black Conference, and taking a very close victory, 16-14, with Raimiat, our player of the week, subbing in and taking the Game 5 over Based Inc. Pyro Llama got the Game 5 win over Marty B. We've got Rabobson taking the Game 5 win over Not Bamity. Memnarch taking the Game 5 win over Itachi. And another match, another Game 5 win, Chewy winning over Random Dude.
Nice. So strong showing by CMU here. Keeping it. They tied last week, but they win against a very strong team. What do you want to say about the Stankistat?
Well, looking at these matchups, while Paladin was everywhere, I think there was actually a pretty good amount of diversity here. And, the Demon Hunter class, despite having Spell DH be a really strong deck again, still has Relic, Outcast, and even Big DH as options. And in this series, we see a lot more of them. There's also the Face Hunter over there from Not Bamity that's a bit more unconventional. So, in spite of how homogenous everything seemed in the closed list series and open list, we can see a bit more variety, which I think is cool.
Nice. It's really cool. There's some really, really fun decks here, and it's fun to see, especially the number of different bands. Anything else anyone wants to say before we move on to look at Black standings?
Yeah, I think this proves once and for all that Pink is better than Black Conference. Surely, this one results, I think, really just seals it. Pink. Do not look at the Pink standings. Pink is a very strong conference.
Now, let's take a look at the Pink Conference at the same time, because we still have a good amount to do. Let's take a look at what is going on with Swagoi facing OPP. Is that correct? I didn't skip the Black standings, did I? No, I did not. Okay. Sorry, I sometimes get confused during the show. But taking a look at Pink, I want to ask Dankistad to tell us about this match.
So looking at this, I've got another 16-10. What are the odds of that? Where Swagoi defeated the opportunistic pro players. OPP had World 8 take the 3-2 win over Cookie Monst, and Labore Sangre take the 3-2 over Risen. But Swagoi's performances of Edelweiss's 3-0, Leo Darik's 3-0, and Mini's 3-2 all were enough to get the job done and put Swagoi on top. And once again, this one is a doozy. Edelweiss, once again, bringing the heat with the hand buff Death Knight, something we haven't seen anywhere else, except for World 8's lineup, which also won. So very funny there to see hand buff DK show up in one match in pro and have it win on each side, which is just a little unusual. But yeah, looks like it was a good one, and I wish I could have seen some of these games because it seemed like it would have been a fun series to watch.
For sure. I wouldn't really expect hand buff DK to even be a deck. Honestly, I don't think it is. but I'm here to
Two
be
players would
surprised.
argue that.
Hey, that's enough of proof for me that it's better than I expect. But yeah, I did not expect much. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Anyone wants to share anything here? Saku, any thoughts?
Not really. It's just it was a tough battle. I know going up against Wagoy and obviously World 8 with that suggested DK probably threw a little hiccup in between their opponent for Cookie Monster. Not to say that Cookie Monster is a bad player or wouldn't understand, but yeah, how do you plan against that when you already have your set lineup? Yeah, 3-2 is always good. So I didn't see the stats for Edelweiss with Heat Shock. So whether she started with DK, but we can look at that later.
Sure, for sure. So, before I move on to PPR, and before we actually look at the standings here, I want to ask Chicken if he has anything to share about this match as well.
Yeah, I'm liking seeing a lot of Enrage Warrior, but I'm not liking seeing 3 Menagerie Warriors. I think the deck is like just worse than Enrage Warrior, and it's also worse in the mirror. I mean, it's like marginally better into Spell Demon Hunter, but I think like worse into like all the other Demon Hunters. It's maybe better in like 1 or 2 other matchups, but really just feels like a worse Enrage Warrior in most cases. Like really not much reason to play it. Heatchalk also brought Mech Paladin.
Mech Paladin. Didn't see
Mech
that.
Paladin was a deck a year ago. Was fun. I enjoyed the deck. I've tried playing Mech Paladin this year. It is not a deck. Do not play Mech Paladin. It's so bad. He also played Mech Paladin when Pure Paladin was available. Like, what are we doing?
Trying to debate Edelweiss. That's all.
Yeah.
Here,
It
ban my
debated
Paladin. Go
Edelweiss
ahead.
into 3-0ing him.
The idea is that you have more resilient taunts because of Bubble Bot. So it's probably more of a counter spell DH lineup from Heat Shock. And you see that there's no spell DH from Edelweiss. So that's probably where that idea came from.
There has to be a 4th deck that is not Mech Paladin that is also good into Spell Demon Hunter. Like, surely there's something else, right? We could have just played like
Spooky
Chadlock, and at least that deck like can win games
All right.
sometimes.
Well, I'll quote you on saying we should have played Chadlock, Derek. I'll file that one away.
No, I don't regret my decision to play Chadlock last week and get 3-0'd. I don't regret that one bit.
Just wait until next week, where everyone thought to bring Chadlock to try to counter Enrage Warrior just because we mentioned it.
Yeah, if you are playing against me, bring Chadlock. It will be really good, I promise.
I think I've lost to Chadlock more than any other deck this season, unironically, though. It's a hard life.
Sometimes they just hit slime on 5, and then the game's over.
It's literally the only thing they can do. If they don't, they lose. The deck is literally
No,
easy
wait,
draw.
Lotus, you don't get it. They could also play Void Lord on 4, or sorry, Void Caller on 4,
Yeah, find
Yeah,
a
it
big
doesn't
demon
do
from their
enough.
deck.
which is the same thing but a demon instead of an undead.
But it usually doesn't work. Like every once in a while you do hit it, but most times it just
Works 49% of the time, every time.
So
Great percentage there.
what are the standings for Pink looking like at the end of this Stanky Stat?
Well, we've got These Mongers Unite in first place after that cross-conference win at 89 points. We've got F3L, team of yours truly, in second at 80 points, but 76 prior to the start of the week. Swagoi in third at 64. Zymox and Chill in fourth, starting the week at 62. And the opportunistic pro players at 57. So looks like there is a pretty clear cut for playoffs, but Sogoi and Zymox and Chill are definitely still in the mix. So, nothing's decided yet. Still some Hearthstone to play.
Still a lot to go, and this is quite the tight conference, so we'll see what happens there. But we do have our final PPR to talk about. Are you ready for that, Dankistat?
I am.
Okay,
So,
go right in.
So, coming up in honorable mention in that last slot, we'll see another familiar PPR face, Lemur at 4-1 with a 12-8 game score. Next up is Marty B at 3-2 with a 13-9 game score. Next up is Lotus Knight at 3-2 with a 13-8 game score. Then Neji Boston at 5-1 with a 16-7 game score. Or at honorable mention, wow.
Yeah,
And
I was
then-
just gonna say, like, hey man, 5-1, yeah.
Yeah, and then last up is Rami, who's 2-0 with a 6-1 game score. So small sample, but doing great. And into our top 10, Yo Daddy at 3-2 with 12-10. Cookie Monst at 3-2 with 13-11. Rebobson at 3-1 with 11-8. Jespin 4-1, 12-6. Agent PWE at 3-2 with 13-7. World 8 at 4-1, 12-8. Lasagne at 4-1 with 14-8. Pyro Llama at 4-1 at 14-7. Wild 9 undefeated at 4-0 with a 12-8 score. And of course, our consistent streamer, Ron Mexico, at number 1 with a 4-1 match score and a 14-8 game score. Man, you guys really hate Neji, huh? What happened?
No, I just want to mention that Neji, I think, started the season in like the 5 seed, so like there are some fraudulent wins in there. Do not get it twisted. Neji does not deserve to be any higher.
All right, well, you heard it here. Neji deserves number 12. But all in all, lots of excellent players. Well, I guess including Neji. And, pretty good. All you have to do to end up on this list is beat your opponents, maybe beat these guys, and play more Hearthstone. So, yeah, shoot for that. Pretty cool PPR for pro. And what else we got, Lotus? Where are we going next?
Well, now we're going to the final screen. We have our checkout question. Also, before our checkout question, I want to ask, I hope you enjoyed our 2 mini games. If you didn't, if you have any feedback, please let us know. We find them a fun way to make the show, but if you have any feedback, if you liked the anagram game, if you didn't like the anagram game, we can think about it. So, my question to you all here is the question I've been doing all season because we've been having them every double week. What did you think of the patch? What is going to happen? What do you expect the nerfs to be? I'm going to start with Saku. Take one of the cards that's getting nerfed. What is it going to or buffed? Tell me one of the cards that's going to be changed, Saku. What do you think it actually is?
I didn't see Spiked Wheel on there, so I'm going to say Setheno is probably going to be an interesting nerf to see what they do with that card. Obviously, it goes crazy with DH, so yeah, my quick look.
Do you think it
And
goes?
then obviously with Ron's
one mana?
weapon disappearing from the face of the earth, possibly. So.
Where do you think they put the weapon? Do you think they're going to make it a 7-drop, 3 attack?
Yeah, it's in that zone. Yep. Just to make Ron's day.
Fair. Dankistat, tell me a card that's being changed. What do you think the change will be?
Rhythm Dancer Risa is going to receive Charge to replace the Gutted Stheno as Demon Hunter's source of offboard damage.
Wow, Charge is back we'll see if that's true. Chicken, what about you? What is changing? Tell me one of the cards.
Man, it's really tough to say for the Paladin card. I'll talk about the Paladin cards. Everyone's asking about it. It's tough to say for the Paladin cards because it's getting nerfed like 3 times simultaneously. Let's say Curator is gonna be like I don't know, a 3/5 or something. Disco Mall is gonna start at +0/+0. And Feast and Famine, the Mana Thirst will get put up to 7, maybe? Or maybe, actually, no. Feast and Famine will go to 2 mana, I think.
Fair. And Geranium, choose a card and tell me what changes.
I have sort of the run to the litter. I will say at the very bottom of the image that they posted, there is Sun Fury Clergy. Sun Fury Clergy is not really a power outlier right now in Standard. However, I believe they're trying to curtail a very early combo deck with the new card, Funnel Cake, where it's sort of like a Miracle Priest, draw your entire deck on turn 3-ish. So probably getting banned in Wild is maybe what that change is going to be. Other than that, we've got 2 other cards that haven't been talked about here, the 2 buffs from the new mini set. The Fire Spell Imp from Warlock and Mage. I mean, it's probably just going to get a mana reduction. It was a 3 mana 3/2. And the fire spells that it gives kind of are pretty bad. So yeah, probably just a 2 mana 3/2, maybe even a 2 mana 4/5 might see play. I don't know. And then for the other one is the mage 4 mana 4/4 that gives 2 of something and it changes between different options. As I have seen now, and I did not know before, it actually can give 2 coins and be a 2 mana 4/4. So this one's kind of scary. It's quite possible that they make it a 1 mana 3/4 in that way. But yeah, I'm thinking 3 mana 3/4 is their probable avenue, and it might be honestly really strong.
Quick question for the other co-host. Before the show, Geranium Battle and I actually looked up what Remix Dispenso Bot gives. Do any of the rest of you know what all 4 versions are?
I
Because
think I might.
I
I'll
would
go
be
one
surprised.
further and say I don't know one, aside from the one
I
Geranium
know,
just
I
mentioned.
know a few. There's one that's actually pretty good. It can give 2 secrets.
No,
which is
Lotus, they go in your
very-
hand.
I know. It can
That's
be
the
good.
secret.
I mean, would it be a lot better if it casted? Yes, it would be really good if it casted.
I actually don't even remember seeing Remix Dispenso Bot or Fiddlefire Imp in the card reveals. That is how forgettable and terrible these cards are. I do remember Rhythm Dancer Reset and thinking why is this rush and not charge?
They're
But
just
that's
trying to
about
make a
it.
song. They're just trying to make a song. Rhythm is a dancer. Oh, wait a second.
Dankest, I think the third one is 2 mage spells to your hand.
Nope.
But to be honest, I don't even know because
There's the weird one of 2 mechs.
because I
It
saw
has
it for
2
like
mechs.
a millisecond before it switched to the secrets one.
The last 2 are frost spells, 2 frost spells, and then 2 mechs.
2 mechs really gets me because there's no good reason to play 2 random mechs. There really isn't.
I'd rather have the mechs than the secrets, I think. But
Yeah.
I'd rather have the coins than anything else. That one is like broken, and the other 3 are all awful. That's how that card is
I think
felt.
broken is a very strong word.
Dankest, have you considered that the 2 mechs could be 2 of this guy, and those guys each give you 2 coins?
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Infinite mana glitch?
I really like my turn 7 raw math that gives me 2 more mana. Seems powerful. course.
That is true. No, this just means Mech Mage is back.
Oh,
Derek, you have no idea. You have no idea. Mech Mage is more back than you know.
sounds like a good time to end the show. So I'm going to give a special thank you to Super Chicken, Geranium Battle, Dankus Dad, and Saku for being here with me tonight. Always great having all of you. I think we had a great show. Hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what you thought. Any feedback is always welcome. I will be away for the next 2 weeks, but the show will probably still go on. Saku said he's going to try to opt at least one of the days if he could. So we'll see what we can do. And I'll talk to Azalea as well. We'll get someone to organize here. We'll make sure the show continues. But I'll see you all soon.
Yeah.
And remember,
Enjoy your vacation away from Hearthcenter.
thank you, Saku. Thank you so much. I will. And remember, everyone, if you want to be in our PPRs, just keep winning. That's all it is. And don't bring Paladin. Just don't bring Paladin.
Yeah. So keep winning and don't bring Paladin. So easy clap.
Oh, and we'll see you all later. Night, everyone.
Peace.
Bye.